Hey, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I'm Phil, and episode 2, here we go. We're going to make a satellite. Don't need to do a manned mission for this. I'm just going to show you basically how to get a little craft into orbit. So I start with my satellite. I'm going to add some batteries, because without a manned person in the spacecraft, it does need some batteries. I'm going to throw these little science things on it. None of them actually do anything yet in the game, because the game is still in beta, but I like to put them on there just to think, like, this is some sciencey kind of thing. I want to put this, like, kind of satellite antenna on there, but I don't think there's really any place I can put it. I can try and put it down there, but I don't think it'll let me put anything else, like even a decoupler or anything on it. So I might not be able to use that one on the bottom. Let's see, can I put anything on the side? Anything? No. So here I'm just gonna keep trying to see if there's any way I can do anything and then decouple those, so waste my time basically. And then I'm gonna start rebuilding the actual stuff that's gonna get this satellite up into the orbit from the, I guess it's not called the Earth, it's called Kerbal. So Kerbal or Kerbin. Kerbal is the people, Kerbin is the planet, I think. Is that right? Actually never paying attention to the names. I just call them like Earth and Mars and stuff like that most of the time. Anyway, I'm gonna put a decoupler on this. See once again if I can fit this on there, but it's still not gonna let me. I don't know why I wasted my time with that. It's got everything it needs. Actually, yeah. So we'll just go with thrust. We get RCS fuel we're going to add for this one too. RCS is basically like, instead of using your liquid engines or gas or anything like that, it's an air tank, and these little things I put on it basically for very minor adjustments once you're up in space. And then to power all this, to charge the batteries and everything, I'm going to put 2 solar panels on it. They're going to extend out. I'm going to move these things around just so these fit better. Okay. So now the next thing after the RCS is going to wind up being the thrusters. The top stage up there usually can just be a very small one. That's actually a little overkill, probably. Let's go. We'll go with the smallest one. At least the smallest one that fits on that size. I don't like, maybe it's a little OCD, but I don't like when things kind of fit weird. So we're gonna go with. Are we gonna go with that one, or are we gonna go with a smaller one? We'll go with the big one. Why not? I guess what we could do, we could try just because of the way my command module looks up there. We're gonna try and make this as similar to the Sputnik craft as possible, which I don't think the Sputnik had RCS. I could be wrong about that, but like, it didn't use any really big thrusters or anything like that. We're just gonna go with one engine at the bottom, and then these 4 liquid ones with smaller engines right there. I think they're called T30 and T45 engines. They're actually pretty much the same, except one of them has thrust vectoring, which allows you to steer a little bit. So staging is kind of set up. I'll explain the staging during takeoff for this one, but I'll name it Orbiter 1. And now if we look to the left here, you'll see the first stage, as soon as I press space, the 4 engines surrounding the craft, as well as the stabilizers, open, and I'm thrusting with those. Now you can see with the next stage, once these liquid fuels run out, I'll hit space and those 4 will detach from my craft. And then the stage after that, I will have the main middle engine going. So to get into orbit now, now that I'm in the last stage here of thrust that I have, which makes me think maybe I should have put a little more fuel in this, but around 10,000 feet, maybe 15 really, depending on your weight and your speed. You want to turn towards the 90-degree mark on the on this nav ball here. And then in map view, you want to get your apoapsis to 70 kilometers, I believe, is the end of the atmosphere. I like to get it to about 100 or so, and I stop the engine right at 100, let it do all the work from there, and I can add a maneuver to adjust all these guys to whatever shape I want. Get the apoapsis and periapsis, which is your lowest point, to about as close as possible to the same height, and that way you're pretty much in an almost perfect circle. So the purple ones on this maneuver adjust your angle, so you could change that, but that's a little extra stuff. Right now we're just trying to go in with pointing towards the target that I've just made in the maneuver. You can see I'm hitting the maneuver node in 1 minute and 8 seconds, and the estimated burn time is about 31 seconds of thrust. So we're going to wait till about almost 15 seconds until we hit the node. That way it's half on one side of the node, half on the other side burning. Bring it up, and we are going to watch as we time this right, get everything to stretch out. Hopefully this goes right. And what happened here? Okay, we are out of fuel. So I'm going to do the last bit of thrust with my RCS, and this probably is not going to be a perfect orbit because that's a lot of work with the RCS, but as long as I get above the 70 mark, I am not going to get back in the atmosphere. And let's see how close I can get it. Hopefully not too bad. 93 periapsis, and what's my apoapsis? 122. It's definitely not perfect. I'll try and shrink it a little bit so that 94, 93, that's pretty close considering we're in space falling around a planet. So I'd say if you're within 1,000 kilometers between your periapsis and apoapsis, you're probably a pretty straight orbit, which mine really isn't straight, to be honest. But actually I don't even think it's at a 90-degree angle. I think I ballsed that up somehow too, but what are we at here? 93. I think that's good. So we're going to jettison that, extend the solar panels, all my other shit that doesn't really do anything. Unfortunately, you can't see it as good because I'm on the dark side of the planet, but we are now in orbit. Basically, the way orbit works, if you've ever studied science, space stuff, anything like that, and what you have to do in here, you're still in gravity, so you're falling towards the Earth right now, but your horizontal speed is so fast that instead of falling down, you're falling you're falling towards Earth, but you're horizontally moving so fast that you miss Earth and just continuously are falling around the Earth. Actually, I ballsed it up more when I jettisoned the stage because that somehow screwed up my periapsis, and now that I've taken that off, I have no way to fix it. So I'm going to be staying with this shitty orbit, and now that we're in the sunlight just about, I'll show you the whole craft just to show it off, and we'll talk about next time. Next time I will put a Kerbal, I still mix them up, but we will put one of the little green guys into orbit in a craft, and that way we'll have him in orbit. We'll do an EVA too, and we'll land him safely. Until next time.